It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right, what's happening? What's happening, everybody? It is Thursday, December 5th, 2019. We got exactly 27 days before it'll be January 1st, 2020. So I got a question for you to start this off this morning. What are you going to do between now and January 1st to make sure that you close out this year strong? Because I will tell you this. I've been around for a long time in the business game, and I've watched a lot of people go through December, even some of November into December, and then into January. As I say, you can go out for the year like a lion, or you can go out like a mouse. And so ask yourself the question, what are you going to do for the rest of the year to make sure that you maintain momentum during this time period when everybody tends to just take their foot off the gas and take it easy? And so this is a time of year where those who put in the work can really create a lot of success and separation from their competition in these months where everybody kind of takes their eye off the ball. So remember that, guys. And remember that the more time you take off right now, the less momentum you're going to have when you get into 2020. And so you can pay now or you can pay later, but I can promise you that you're going to pay at some point. So with that said, I want to just take a second here and formally welcome our newest little man into the world. So our third little boy, our fourth child, Preston Stephen Hess, was born on December 2nd, just after noon, 12:13, which, believe it or not, that number hit in some combination on the Pennsylvania lottery that day, so I'm assuming he's going to be a lucky little boy already. Mom and baby are both doing amazing. We're all a little bit tired, of course, but that is to be expected, and we are just blessed beyond measure and so incredibly grateful that God blessed us with another little one to take care of. And man, what an experience watching life come into this world is. And my wife, I can't say enough. She is just an incredible mother, an incredible person, an incredible partner for me in business. As you guys know, I was in Tampa yesterday, so totally supportive of me, going and doing what I had to do yesterday. Flew down there and back in one day. So thank you to my wife. I love you with all my heart, and I don't know what I would do without you. So good morning, guys. Good morning, Eli, Justin, Lydia, Patricia, Trisha, Nina, Bob, Dayton. What's happening, guys? Thank you for jumping on this morning. I appreciate it. This is going to be a cool one, I think. We're going to talk a little bit about the way that things should be, as they say. And, I was thinking about this a lot over the past few days because, there's just so many rules when you're going through this whole experience of childbirth and people telling you what you should do, what you shouldn't do, what you this, what you that. And then, same thing in business. It's people are always trying to tell you how to fit into some certain box and the way that you should be doing things and how this is better and don't do that and this is inefficient. And so I want to talk about that this morning because I think that society is always trying to tell us right from wrong. And I want to give you guys some perspective. That's what the title of the show is. I want to give you guys some perspective on how I believe that we, as people, if you don't take the time to get some quiet time and actually think, that we're just on this hamster wheel of the world that society kind of delivers us as to what is right and wrong. And we tend to follow in those footsteps. And then we look back and wonder why we don't have the results that we want, why we don't have the life that we want, why we don't have the fulfillment, happiness, all those kinds of things. And I think it's because a lot of the times we're functioning on someone else's set of rules. And we don't really take the time. And I'm not a guy that just, goes against the grain for no reason. I'm not one of those people. But I think it's important for us to think about what exactly is it that we believe. And so I think that when you guys think about this morning, you're going to come to some interesting conclusions about your own lives and about some of the things that are put on you that you may or may not believe, right? And so I think my point is, to sum it up, I think we're just far too often, whether it's business, life, etc., we're just too quick to just follow the rules and not question anything. And the reason for that is that society in general, most people all do the same things. And so when you're doing something that's different than everybody else, then usually people have something to say about that. And we're going to talk a little bit about that this morning. So I'll start with, in business. So if you look at businesses in general, like if I look in our industry of, asphalt paving and concrete, there are so many companies out there that are literally just carbon copies of one another, right? And, it takes a lot of effort, a lot of focus, a lot of thought to make sure that your company stands out and it doesn't look like everybody else. And it's not just another face in the crowd, if you will. And the question is, how do you do that? And then what are the forces that are constantly pulling you in the wrong direction? The forces are pulling you back to being like everybody else. So as you start to try to innovate or do something different, there's going to be people out there that say, well, you're not like them. So they're going to say all kinds of things about you. They're going to say, you're not that type of company, or you're not this, or, you have all these things that they don't have. And so they're going to try to chop you down and try to chop at your knees, because people that go against the grain threaten those that are part of the herd. And that is the case in every single aspect of life, whether it's business, personal. I use this analogy quite often, but it's the crabs in the barrel, right? When one crab's trying to get out, all the other ones are trying to pull it back in. And that is the case. When you start to try and do things a different way, not how, quote unquote, everybody else thinks they should be done, you're going to get a lot of pressure from the outside about why you're doing what you're doing. And I will tell you this, there's two pieces of advice that I would give you. Number one, don't be afraid to educate people on your beliefs. Just because you disagree with what somebody else is doing, or you want to do things differently, it doesn't mean that you can't be friends with that person, you can't get along, you have to have some kind of beef or problem with them. Doesn't mean that at all. And if it does, by the way, then that person wasn't intended to be in your life anyway, because I have a lot of friends that believe different things than I do, and we get along great. There's no problem in believing something different. It doesn't make anybody less of a person. They have different experiences, different backgrounds, different everything that make them believe something different. In life, I think that if we just follow the pack without asking any questions or educating ourselves on the topics, I don't believe that you will ever experience life as it's meant to be experienced. I think that doing things the way that they should be done is nothing more for you than rolling with past experiences, and it is much easier, and you're going to be accepted by far more people, because all those people just go along with what everybody else believes as well. And so I think that if you really dig down deep inside your heart, deep inside your mind, I think that there's a lot of things that we do that we don't necessarily agree with. We just go along with it. And we do that for a variety of reasons, right? I'll give you guys an example. I stopped drinking dairy milk. I stopped drinking cow's milk because for a variety of reasons. Number one, I think that I have some kind of sensitivity to it. But the other thing is, as I became an adult, I started to think about, the idea of drinking milk and where it came from. And it didn't really sit right with me. just seem weird to me. But again, that doesn't mean that everybody else that's on this stream can't drink milk, or that I think it's something bad for you to do. It's just something that I chose not to do. And the reason that I did it until I stopped drinking milk was very simple. My parents gave it to me when I was a kid. And you trust your parents give you something, you start to consume it, and rinse, repeat, you just keep doing it, right? And you don't really think about what it is. I think we do a lot of that. We just float on the surface with a lot of topics. For me, I've thought about that with regard to soda. I still drink soda every once in a while. I wish my parents never gave it to me, because now I realize that it's not very good for us. It's poisonous. But at the same time, I'd still drink it because I've experienced it. It's a routine that I've had, and I still continue to do it. But the reality is that, we have to continue to evaluate every single thing in our lives, not just what we eat or what we consume, but everything that's going on around us. And if you don't start asking questions about the things that are going on around you, whether that's in your business life, if you're working for someone, respectfully asking questions about why things are a certain way. And hopefully you work for a leader that is open to that kind of thing. Because in our company, the only way that we get better is by everybody coming together and creating new ideas and creating innovation that serves our customers, makes our jobs easier as being part of the company. And so hopefully people are open to that. But what I will tell you is that in business, a lot of times those people, remember this, there's probably a lot of you that work for people that won't embrace that kind of thing, that they don't like change, they don't embrace change. And so when you start questioning things, or you start, trying to evolve things in a different direction, you might get some pushback. Pushback doesn't mean you should stop. It doesn't mean that you should just continue doing things, a certain way just because that's the way that they were done. On the flip side of that, in our business, I'm often told that some of the things that I do, that we do as a company, are inefficient. They're old-fashioned. We write a lot of handwritten notes, a lot of handwritten thank you cards. We do a lot of things that are inefficient. We make sure that our meetings are in person when a lot of our competition will try to do that over the phone, because we believe in an old-fashioned set of values mixed with advanced innovation that makes things easier and more efficient. And I tell you that because I think that far too often we just follow the trend that's out there. We try to duplicate something that's already been done, that's created success, and that's great for a lot of things. It's great for a lot of pieces of your business, but you have to constantly be searching for those things that create differentiation, for those things that will separate you, that other people can't or won't duplicate. And so I challenge you guys this morning to think about how much you are on what I refer to as autopilot. How do you just do things the way that other people are telling you they have done it? And again, for certain things, for you to get started in business, you don't want to start coming up with your own ideas when you haven't really mastered the idea of what you're doing yet already. So in our world, if you're starting off as a seal coating contractor and you've never done seal coating before, it's going to be hard for you to create any kind of innovation in that world until you just understand it a little bit. But sometimes that lack of knowledge and that lack of experience can be the best thing for you when it comes to innovation. When I came into this business, I didn't know anything about asphalt and concrete. And so that led me to think a lot differently than most other people. And that has been one of the greatest gifts that I've had in my career in the construction world, is that I've never really thought like those other people. I've always tried to challenge the status quo whenever we could. And that has worked out very well for us. But don't just do things the way that other people have done them, either in your personal life, in your business life, just because that's what other people expect you to do. And I promise you, the minute that you start doing these things against the grain, whether it's what you eat, my sister-in-law, my wife's sister, is a vegan, and it's something that a lot of people don't understand. I'm one of them. I don't understand it. But because she is a vegan, I'm starting to read up on it. I'm starting to understand exactly why people choose what they choose. And I will tell you guys this. Once you educate yourself on a topic, you're going to understand exactly why people do it. Whether you agree with it or not is a whole different story, but you will understand exactly why people do it. So I will tell you guys this. Take a chance, be different. Don't just follow the way that it should be. Blazing your own path is a hell of a lot more fun. And you're not going to change the world doing what everybody else has already done. And so I will leave you guys with that. I think that it's important for us to open our minds to really just look in our own lives and figure out what percentage of the time are we on autopilot, just following what other people have told us is right or wrong. And, challenge it, guys. I don't care what it is. If in business, if I'm talking with an attorney or a legal situation or whatever it is, I may not be an attorney, but I have something to add with regard to the value of that conversation no matter what. And so, don't just follow what people tell you the way that it should be done. Challenge things, and you will get a hell of an education in the process. Even if you're wrong, you will get more educated and more advanced every single step of the way that you start to challenge things and just think. And by the way, don't challenge things in a negative way because you will get a negative result. Challenge things in a way that brings positivity, that's encouraging, a better way to do things, a different way to do things. Why don't we look at this? This might be more efficient. If you come across the right way, you're always going to be embraced and welcomed with open arms. And if you're not, then maybe you're just in the wrong place, because if you think that way and the place that you're working or the environment that you're working in isn't one that embraces that kind of thing, then maybe it's time to consider that as well. So I'll leave you guys with that. Please share this out to your pages. We're back cracking again. I won't miss another day here through the holidays all the way through. We should be good to go. I got nothing else going on. So I should be, actually, I might miss next Tuesday. I'm lying to you guys. So I don't even remember what time my flight is, but I got a quick trip this coming Tuesday, and then I'm done until after the holidays. So, but please share this out to your pages. Also, check out my YouTube channel, guys. There's going to be a lot more content posted to that page. I'm going to start doing some of the training stuff that we do in Top Contractor School. I've had a lot of people reach out to me and ask if that was applicable to other trades outside of construction. The answer is absolutely yes. So I'm going to start doing some of that content on my YouTube channel that'll be free for you guys to go and download, consume, whatever. And it'll be just towards business. So it won't be specifically directed towards construction. And I think it will be really helpful. So if you guys have somebody in business that you think could benefit from the content, send them to the YouTube channel. Obviously, they can connect here on Facebook or Instagram, all of those platforms. You'll be seeing a lot more content coming out the remainder of this year, and into next year it's going to get hot and heavy content related. So again, listen to these episodes on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher. If you guys are over there on iTunes, please leave a review. It really helps a ton for the show to get recognized. And the same thing here. If you guys go over to my Brian Hess public page, if you guys could leave a review over there, that would help get that in people's recommended feeds as well and introduce us to more people. So I appreciate you guys with all my heart, man. It was incredible, all of the messages that we received while the baby was being born and afterwards. It was just it's overwhelming. We are just so grateful for all you guys and the love and support that you guys sent to us during a really special time. So I say this every day, but I truly love you guys for being here. And I hope that I add value to your life. You guys certainly add value to mine. So I appreciate you guys. I hope you have an amazing Thursday. And I will talk to you guys again tomorrow morning, same place, same time.